I received this message about a year ago, and I received it again about a couple of minutes ago, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it. And this message is not for everyone, it's for specific people. The enemy is using your image against you. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to explain it. And I'm going to tell you the best way I can because this is what I see. We all have an image of who we are. And this is a person, let's just say, of who you are now. And you are quite different than who you used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago, even possibly 5. And it's like a flipped version of yourself, but it's a darker version. And so the enemy is using that darker version of you to try to pull you back into who you used to be because you are a dark person. Okay, this is the only way how I can explain it. When in nature, let's just say you see there's water and there's a surface of water and you see like trees or whatever, and then you see the reflection of the trees, but it's identical to that very thing. But this is not identical. This is different. On the surface level, on the physical of who you are now, you are who you are. But on the flip side version of this watery surface, of the reflective surface underneath, when it flips, it's basically the other side of you. And so the enemy tries to use that against you. He tries to use your image of who you used to be and all that kind of stuff against you. Granted, there's a lot of things that is in you that is not gone. There are a lot of things that is dark. And I'm not saying evil. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, because for the thing is, there are a lot of people that has been in dark places and spaces during their whole life. And you had to learn things in that darkness. That's how you learned. You was in it. You was of it. And so you learned things of the enemy. You learned all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it did not overtake you. So the enemy did not understand that you are capable of doing evil. Don't get me wrong. You are capable of doing it. But what makes you different between you and them is that you choose not to do it. And so that is the difference. You choose to do it. A lot of people, honestly, there are some people who don't believe in free will. We do, even though, yes, the Lord knows our choices that we choose. He does not take away or negate our free will. They get it all wrong. They don't understand how it works. Yes, he knows what you're going to do, but that does not take away your free will ability. Because in the end, you still choose what you're going to do in any way. So the difference between you and them is that you choose not to become evil. You choose not to do evil things, even though at times, I'm telling you, you get tempted to do it. You want to do it, but you fight yourself. You fight your flesh. You fight. It's been a fight. And so the enemy will try to use that image of you and everything about it, the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Even though you are not dark. That's why you have to understand what I'm saying. But to say that basically you are not who you think you are. You are not this person. You are not of God. You are not, to try to pull you back into his crutches, to try to pull you back into his kingdom, to try to pull you underneath. You're not who you think you are. You're not. You belong here. You belong here. You don't belong there. So it would use things and situations or even people to try to tell you exactly who they think you are. Even people who claim that they are of God will tell you you're not who you think you are. A lot of them are actually being sent. There are a lot of people who are in the kingdom who are not of God. Just because a lot of people say they're Christian does not mean that they're a Christian. And I'm going to tell that. And that's with any type of religion out there, anything. Anybody can proclaim to be something, but that doesn't mean it's so. A lot of times you're going to constantly fight a war within. And I have a video about that. A war within. Because not only have you been fighting a war against the enemy and a war against all these things, you've been constantly fight a war against yourself, because there are things in you that you have to constantly fight, because you or know that you are capable of doing things. But also it is a strength, because it is not a weakness. Because these are things that you fight. And also on top of that, God have given you the ability to also empathize with people as well, because these are things you had to go through in life. You wasn't always like that, but you gained it. It's not a weakness. It is a strength. And so a lot of times people who are of dark natures do not understand how you're able to combat, how you're able to overcome, how you're able to survive and thrive. And it's not because of you, whether you know it or not, whether you're with Christ or actually you're out there in the world and you haven't came to him yet. Because there are people who a lot of people don't understand, who are not with Christ as of yet, but they will be. And majority of my messages are to them, to awaken the ones that it's supposed to awaken, and let them know who they are. They will know it, because I knew it. It's not something that someone had to tell me. I already knew. So when I heard someone preaching on the corner when I was 18 years old, I felt like that they were preaching to me when everybody else was walking by, when everybody else was going about their business. I stopped, because I felt like that person was speaking to me. I was the one out of the 99. And so are many of you. So are many of everybody else. One out of the 99.